A heavy silence weighed over Buckingham Palace, thicker than its marble halls, as if every portrait on the walls was watching a royal storm about to break loose. Inside this grand fortress of old traditions and unshakable etiquette, something intense was brewing, not from the public or the press, but from the royal family itself. Insiders whisper that King Charles III reached a boiling point and openly clashed with Queen Camilla right in the middle of the palace. Staff and aides were left speechless as voices rose in a moment no one could have imagined. The cause of this sudden royal uproar? A ring, but not just any ring. This was a precious heirloom engraved with the king's name, one he's worn since the 1970s. It carried decades of royal history, memories, and deep personal meaning. But when it mysteriously vanished, the palace was thrown into quiet chaos. Whispers spread through every corridor, and suddenly all eyes turned toward Camilla, the person closest to the king for years, now facing whispers of doubt for the first time. A relationship once praised for its calm and strength after the coronation now seems to be standing on shaky ground. Could this missing heirloom really be the breaking point? Or does it hint at something much deeper hiding behind the palace doors? Could there be a hidden truth behind the mysterious disappearance of the king's ring, one the royal family might prefer to keep out of sight? The question that everyone's whispering about is simple yet explosive. Did Camilla really take the ring? And if that's true, what could have driven her to do it? Before diving into the intense confrontation that has royal insiders buzzing, we need to rewind a bit, back to the slow, silent cracks that began forming between King Charles and Queen Camilla over the years. These tensions didn't just appear overnight. They were built on shifting power, quiet ambitions, and moments when patience seemed to finally run out. It all started when Camilla stepped into her role as queen consort. In the beginning, her position looked traditional, the devoted royal partner standing gracefully beside the king, handling her public duties and keeping the image of unity alive. But as time passed, small changes started to surface, and they didn't go unnoticed. Camilla's voice within the palace began to grow stronger, and with that came new questions about who truly held the influence behind the scenes. She started appearing at major events on her own, even giving interviews without the usual approvals from King Charles or top palace advisors. Observers began to notice she was no longer fitting neatly into the usual royal script. She was rewriting it. The royal tension reached a whole new level when the official website quietly changed her title from Queen Consort to simply Queen. On paper, it looked like a small update, just a few words switched around. But in the royal world, wording means everything. That subtle edit sent shockwaves through the palace, sparking endless whispers about what it truly meant for the royal hierarchy, for King Charles, and for the future of the monarchy itself. Reports soon surfaced that King Charles wasn't entirely pleased with the move. While he had supported Camilla's growing public role, insiders say he grew uneasy about how it clashed with his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II's carefully set instructions. The late queen had made it clear that Camilla should be known as Queen Consort, keeping in line with long-standing royal tradition. Yet, despite those clear wishes, the quiet change to simply Queen felt like a bold and, to some, deeply controversial break from the old order. But Camilla's newfound independence didn't stop with titles. She began taking a stronger hand in the day-to-day rhythm of palace life, tweaking the king's schedule, canceling certain engagements, and steering decisions in a direction that reflected her vision for the monarchy. To some in the royal circle, these moves were seen as confidence and leadership. To others, they looked like she was stepping too far into the king's space, and when she was reportedly confronted about her actions, she responded with calm but stunning certainty, saying, "It will do him no good. The Queen knows best." Those 4 words said it all, a bold statement that revealed just how confident Camilla had become in her own judgment and growing influence within the royal circle. But the tension truly hit its peak when she decided to give a private interview without King Charles knowing about it. The interview's content stunned everyone. Camilla shared personal insights and future plans for the monarchy that had never been made public, and, more surprisingly, had reportedly never even been discussed with the king himself. What was meant to sound like an open, thoughtful conversation quickly turned into a royal media storm. Advisors and close allies were caught completely off guard, unsure how to manage the fallout after private royal matters suddenly became public headlines. For King Charles, it wasn't just a professional setback, it felt deeply personal. Private details he had shared in full trust were now out for the entire world to analyze. The king's longtime confidant, the one person he had relied on for decades, had unintentionally exposed their private conversations for everyone to hear. And that cut deep. The day after that interview, Buckingham Palace was filled with heavy silence. Camilla's unexplained absence the previous night raised eyebrows, and as the hours dragged on, Charles's unease became impossible to hide. Staff described him pacing the halls, sending urgent messages and repeatedly asking for updates on her whereabouts. When Camilla finally walked back into the palace, she moved with an unsettling calm, every bit of her posture radiating quiet confidence. Her expression was cool, controlled, and she barely acknowledged the nervous glances from staff who could feel that something major was about to go down. Each step she took toward the room where King Charles was waiting carried a sense of finality. The confrontation everyone had been dreading was about to happen. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Charles, visibly strained and holding back his frustration, locked eyes with Camilla. His voice shook slightly as he spoke, making his disappointment impossible to miss. He reminded her that the monarchy wasn't a place for personal moves or private agendas. Every action had consequences, and above all, she had broken the one thing he valued most: his trust. His words echoed through the ornate chamber, striking like lightning, signaling a major turning point not just in their marriage, but in the royal household itself. That private clash revealed just how fragile the balance of loyalty, influence, and ambition within the royal family truly was. The air felt charged with history, decades of royal duty and tradition clashing with modern independence and personal ambition. Everyone who witnessed even a glimpse of that moment could sense the weight of it, the stability of the monarchy, and the bond between the king and his queen now hanging by a thread. The quiet storm that had been building behind palace doors finally burst open. Camilla's growing independence, the mysterious vanishing of the treasured ring, and her bold public remarks had all pushed King Charles to face a truth he could no longer avoid. Trust had been broken, not just between a royal couple, but between two people who once depended on each other more than anyone else in the world. The palace walls, usually filled with calm tradition and quiet ceremony, now carried the weight of emotional chaos. A confrontation so intense that even those beyond the royal circle could sense something monumental was unfolding. It was a moment that would be remembered for years. Every word, every glance, every breath between King Charles and Camilla held meaning. The balance of influence, the image of unity, and even the foundation of the royal household felt fragile, hanging by a thread, waiting for something to give. The future of their bond and the legacy they had built together was being quietly decided right there in that room, shaping the next chapter of royal history. And through it all, one truth stood firm: trust had been broken. Yet while Buckingham Palace seemed to buzz with unease, Camilla stood calm and unshaken. Witnesses later described her as standing taller, collected, and almost untouchable amid the tension swirling around her. Her composure was deliberate, every movement, every word carefully measured. Some saw it as grace under pressure. Others saw defiance wrapped in elegance. As King Charles's frustration grew, she didn't back down. Instead, she met his glare with steady eyes and a calm voice that sliced through the thick air of accusation. She stood her ground with unwavering calm, declaring firmly, "I am the Queen, and I have every right to speak my mind." Her words struck King Charles like a wave, sharp, unexpected, and impossible to miss. The impact wasn't just felt in that room, it seemed to echo deep within him, cutting through layers of emotion built up over years of royal restraint. But it quickly became clear this wasn't just about a public statement or a media headline. This was something far more personal, something that had been building quietly between them for years. Beneath all the royal protocol and polished appearances, there had been a slow, silent tension, and now it was finally breaking through the surface. In that heated moment, King Charles's patience gave way. All those bottled-up frustrations, quiet disappointments, and long-ignored wounds came flooding out at once. His voice trembled with raw emotion as it filled the ornate chamber, breaking the stillness that had gripped the palace. Then came the question that had been haunting him for weeks, the one that had fueled every sleepless night and every uneasy silence. His voice cut through the air like a blade. Who took the king's jewel? Who took my ring? King Charles's eyes locked onto Camilla, searching for even the smallest hint of guilt, a twitch, a glance, something. But her expression stayed calm and unreadable, her face a perfect mask that revealed nothing. The silence between them was so thick it felt almost royal in its own way, cold, composed, and impossible to break. The ring at the center of this tension wasn't just a fancy piece of jewelry, it was a powerful symbol. This was Charles's personal insignia, carrying the weight of royal authority, family heritage, and decades of history. It wasn't simply gold and gem, it represented generations of duty and identity. Losing it, or worse, having it mysteriously vanish, wasn't just a personal blow. It felt like a moment that shook the very image of the monarchy itself. This pinky ring had been part of Charles's signature look for decades. Introduced to the public back in the 1970s, it became instantly recognizable, a small but mighty detail that spoke volumes about his royal image and his deep connection to tradition. Crafted from rare Welsh gold, a material reserved for the most meaningful royal pieces, the ring carried immense historical weight. Etched with the intricate crest of the Prince of Wales, the design linked Charles's past as heir to the throne with his present role as king, and symbolically with his son William, who now holds that same title. It was more than jewelry, it was a bridge between generations, tying together the legacy of the British monarchy, past, present, and future, in one gleaming emblem that represented everything the crown stood for. But beyond its royal shine and craftsmanship, the ring holds a deep emotional meaning that only those within the royal circle can truly understand. To King Charles, it's more than gold. It's a living connection to his late father, Prince Philip, and to all the generations who came before him. Every time he wore it, he carried a piece of his family's legacy. The memories, the duties, and even the quiet sacrifices that built the modern monarchy. That's why its disappearance hit so hard. It wasn't just about losing an item. It felt like losing a part of royal history itself. The missing ring symbolized a crack in the long, unbroken chain of tradition, a break in the continuity that connects past rulers to the present day. The emotional weight of that loss went beyond sentiment. It cast quiet questions over the palace's unity, its security, and even its inner trust.
The history of that ring stretches back 3 generations, beginning with Prince Philip, who received it from his father, Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark. That lineage alone gives the piece unmatched significance. It's a symbol that ties Charles to his royal ancestry, and one day to his son Prince William, who will inherit not just titles, but the traditions and legacy tied to this heirloom. This single ring stands as both a personal treasure and a bridge across time, connecting past, present, and future through loyalty, honor, and family legacy. Its loss isn't just a royal inconvenience, it's a symbolic wound that echoes through the heart of the monarchy itself. After King Charles's long-awaited coronation, the sudden disappearance of his treasured heirloom sent quiet shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. The world had just watched him rise to the throne with ceremony, pride, and centuries of tradition. But behind all that royal splendor, a far more personal crisis was unfolding in silence. Sources inside the palace revealed that the king, usually known for his calm and controlled demeanor, was deeply unsettled. He was seen pacing through his private rooms, sending messages, and demanding updates as he tried to make sense of how something so valuable and so symbolic could vanish under such tight security. Despite an intense search effort across the palace, days went by with no sign of the ring. Every corner was checked, every route reviewed, yet nothing turned up. And with every passing hour, the uncertainty grew heavier. Rumors began spreading fast, whispers of how the ring might have been misplaced, quietly removed, or possibly handled by someone too eager to please. Some insiders murmured about a breach of trust from within, while reports in the media spun theories about opportunists taking advantage of the monarchy's moment of transition. The royal household, usually so composed, now buzzed with quiet anxiety. What started as a simple missing item had turned into a mystery that touched the very heart of royal security and loyalty, leaving everyone wondering just who could be behind the disappearance of the king's most personal treasure. Through the growing storm inside Buckingham Palace, one person seemed remarkably calm. Camilla. While everyone else was tense and searching for answers, she carried on with her duties, making decisions on her own and moving forward with her plans as if nothing had happened. Her calmness, while impressive to some, quietly fueled suspicion among others. It was that composed, almost detached attitude that sparked the next explosive clash behind closed doors. King Charles, already pushed to his limit by the mystery surrounding the missing ring and still uneasy from her previous interview, finally lost his patience in a private confrontation. What followed wasn't just a disagreement, it was the eruption of years of bottled-up tension, unspoken frustration, and deep emotional strain between them. For years, Camilla had been under constant public scrutiny, portrayed harshly by the press, and judged for every move. That relentless spotlight had once left her isolated, but over time it also hardened her spirit. She became someone who refused to back down or hide from criticism anymore. So, when the confrontation finally happened, it was about far more than a missing heirloom. It was a collision between decades of pressure, pride, and power. A moment where private emotion met public history. Camilla's unwavering confidence, her insistence on being heard, and her calm disregard for the king's visible distress weren't just signs of defiance, they reflected a long simmering struggle over control, respect, and acknowledgement within the royal household.
And through all of this, as the storm brewed inside the majestic halls of Buckingham Palace, one truth stood out. Camilla had felt deeply alone. Behind the elegance and duty, she carried a quiet pain, a feeling of being isolated at times when she once believed Charles was her strongest supporter. For years, whispers among those closest to the royal household hinted at a personal tension between King Charles and Queen Camilla that outsiders could barely imagine. Those who truly knew them said Camilla had carried a deep sense of hurt, a lingering feeling born from years of public pressure and relentless media attention during the turbulent period around Charles's first marriage. She had faced judgment from every direction: headlines, critics, and constant public comparison. And what made it worse, in her eyes, was that the one person who could have stood up for her more firmly, her husband, the king, hadn't always done so. She felt unprotected, left to handle the noise and speculation alone while the world watched. That quiet resentment didn't fade with time. It became part of the foundation of their relationship. Camilla had hoped that Charles, with all his influence and royal authority, would use his power to publicly support her, to defend her name when the spotlight grew harsh. But too often she felt his silence instead. To her, it was more than just inaction. It was emotional distance, a quiet wound that never truly healed. And now, years later, those old feelings of abandonment seemed to echo once more through the palace walls, adding a painful layer to the growing rift between the king and queen. The quiet resentment born from years of feeling overlooked didn't explode overnight. It simmered slowly, hiding beneath polite smiles and graceful appearances. It showed itself in Camilla's calm confidence, her growing independence, and her ability to make decisions without waiting for approval. What looked like composure to the public was in truth the reflection of emotional wounds that never fully healed. These old scars, invisible to most, subtly shaped how the king and queen interacted, influencing choices, tone, and even moments of silence between them. Even after their long-awaited marriage and Camilla's rise to the title of queen consort, those buried feelings never completely disappeared. They lingered, quietly coloring their relationship behind the palace image. Royal insiders have often whispered that behind the perfect public scenes, there existed a fragile balance, a quiet tension neither of them fully addressed. Camilla's lingering sense of hurt intertwined with Charles's own guilt from the past, especially the emotional fallout tied to his first marriage. Together, those feelings created an undercurrent of friction that never truly faded. Observers of royal life began to sense that something deeper was brewing. The emotional tension, left unresolved for so long, seemed destined to surface again, and not quietly. In recent months, those whispers inside the palace grew louder, hinting that Camilla's growing confidence and expanding influence were stirring unease in certain royal circles. Camilla's rising influence hasn't gone unnoticed, not by the palace, not by the press, and certainly not by the king. Some insiders believe that her surprisingly candid comments during a recent high-profile interview weren't a slip-up at all, but a bold statement. It was her way of making it clear that she no longer intended to stand quietly in the background of royal life. Reports suggest that Camilla has started taking a more active hand in shaping royal decisions, sometimes stepping outside traditional palace procedures to follow her own instincts and ideas. To some, these moves might seem minor, but to those watching closely, they look like part of a carefully planned effort, a sign that she's carving out her own place in the monarchy and expanding her influence beyond the ceremonial role expected of her. Meanwhile, King Charles has become increasingly alert to the changing dynamic between them. Sources close to the royal household say he's been working to reassert his authority, determined to keep the balance of power clear and protect both the monarchy's image and his own standing as its leader. The quiet struggle for control inside the palace has become one of the most talked
talked about royal mysteries, subtle but powerful. And then came the confrontation that changed everything. The moment centered around the king's pinky ring. That single heirloom, a powerful symbol of royal history and personal identity, became the flashpoint for everything simmering beneath the surface. Insiders described that scene as nothing short of explosive, the point where years of quiet tension finally burst into the open. It was a collision of old wounds, new frustrations, and a silent struggle for control at the very top of the monarchy. The confrontation began when King Charles, tense and visibly exhausted, accused Camilla of taking the missing heirloom, his voice filled with disbelief and growing frustration. He demanded to have it returned immediately, explaining that every search had led nowhere and hinting that evidence pointed directly toward her. Witnesses described the moment as chillingly tense. Camilla stood perfectly still, her expression unreadable as she considered her next move. Then, with calm precision and quiet authority, she finally spoke the words that would leave the entire room stunned. "What belongs to the king is mine." The statement landed like a royal thunderclap, part challenge, part declaration. Her tone carried both confidence and finality, a subtle reminder that her position was no longer secondary. She was making it clear that she saw herself not just as a partner, but as an equal force within the monarchy's hierarchy. And then came the gesture that took everyone by surprise. With steady hands, Camilla reached into her handbag, pulled out the missing ring, and placed it gently on the table in front of Charles. The move was graceful, deliberate, and undeniably powerful. But instead of resolving the moment, it made everything worse. The king's face flushed with emotion, a mix of hurt, disbelief, and pride. His voice rose through the chamber as he confronted what he saw as not just a personal betrayal, but a challenge to his authority itself. "You're done." King Charles' voice rang through the room, the words landing like a final strike that echoed through the very heart of their relationship. It wasn't just anger, it was a declaration, the breaking point of a partnership that had once seemed unshakable. The air turned heavy, charged with years of emotion and unspoken tension. Camilla didn't flinch. Those who witnessed the scene said she turned sharply and walked out with quiet purpose, her exit as steady and deliberate as her words had been. Behind her, Charles stood frozen, caught between royal composure and personal heartbreak, wrestling with the pressure of public duty and the storm of private emotion. Insiders close to the palace believed that this moment marked more than just another disagreement. It was a real fracture, a break in what had been a delicate understanding built over decades of compromise, respect, and shared history. Something fundamental had shifted, and everyone around them could feel it. At the center of all the speculation lies one key question. Why did Camilla take the ring in the first place? Royal observers insist her actions weren't random or impulsive. The ring, carrying layers of meaning, identity, lineage, and royal legacy, wasn't just jewelry to her. It represented something deeper: acknowledgement, power, and her rightful place within the monarchy. Reports suggest that Camilla had asked for it before, perhaps as a sign of recognition or equality, but had been gently refused by the king. It was a powerful message, a declaration that Camilla's influence within the royal circle no longer depended on the king's approval. But in taking that bold step and claiming the ring, she crossed into dangerous territory where trust and authority collide. What had once been a cherished symbol of royal heritage suddenly became the spark that ignited one of the monarchy's most intense confrontations in years. In the days that followed, Camilla reportedly stepped back from several public duties, and the palace fell into an unusual hush. Behind those gilded doors, uncertainty lingered in every conversation, every glance, every whisper among staff. The once steady rhythm of royal life now carried a pulse of quiet tension, as if the whole institution was holding its breath. Now, both insiders and royal watchers are asking the same burning questions. Can this royal marriage withstand what just happened? And could something as small as a pinky ring truly rattle the very foundation of one of the world's most enduring monarchies? The answer is still unknown, but what's clear is that the impact of that confrontation has already spread far beyond one private room. The shock of it has rippled through Buckingham Palace, leaving advisors cautious, staff uneasy, and the public watching every move for hints of what comes next. Every word they speak, every joint appearance, and every decision in the coming weeks will be examined under the closest scrutiny, not just for signs of calm, but for proof of whether the royal bond between King Charles and Queen Camilla can truly recover. The British monarchy, once seen as the ultimate symbol of stability and timeless tradition, now finds itself standing at a tense crossroads. Every move from this point forward carries weight, not just for the royal family, but for how the world sees them. And just as the palace faces its own storm, another royal-related headline has captured global attention: Meghan Markle's grand return to the spotlight. The Duchess has officially launched her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, unveiling a chic collection that perfectly blends her love for home, food, and effortless elegance. On April 2nd, the line made its online debut, featuring artisanal wildflower honey priced at $28, dainty decorative sprinkles at $15, gourmet crepe mix at $14, and several other stylish items she had previously teased on her reality series. The entire collection reflects Meghan's personal touch, a mix of California charm and cozy sophistication she's long been known for. In her press statement, Meghan shared that the brand was born from her genuine passion for cooking, hosting, and creating warmth at home, a side of her that fans have always admired. It was her way of showing life beyond royal duties, centered on creativity, comfort, and connection. Despite a few critics raising eyebrows, the launch was an immediate success. Products sold out within the hour. Shoppers flooded the site so fast that limited edition items, including the famous wildflower honey, went out of stock even after payment confirmations. The overwhelming response caused brief website crashes and shipping delays, but that only added to the public buzz. Love her or question her, Meghan once again proved her ability to turn attention into action, cementing her status as one of the most talked about figures connected to modern royalty. In a follow-up message, Meghan's brand addressed the overwhelming demand with sincerity and grace. The team confirmed that they were processing refunds where needed and promised to send a complimentary gift to anyone affected by the delays, complete with a personal note from Meghan herself. The message read, "Dear friend, this week has been a whirlwind. Thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world to me. I'm so sorry we couldn't fulfill your order for our limited edition honey. Please know our team has been working around the clock to manage the demand, and I hope this small token of appreciation shows how much we value your patience and understanding." That thoughtful touch instantly made headlines. It reflected Meghan's signature attention to detail and her commitment to keeping a personal connection with her supporters, something few celebrity brands manage to do so naturally. However, industry analysts are now watching closely. While the impressive launch proved Meghan's star power and savvy marketing instincts, experts are split on whether her new brand can sustain that same energy long-term. Some business commentators credit the instant sellout to what they call the Meghan effect, the global curiosity, admiration, and attention her name alone attracts. Fans rush to buy, not just for the products, but for the connection to her story and image. Still, Others warn that once the excitement cools, the brand will face its true challenge, keeping customers loyal, maintaining quality, and proving that it's more than just a viral moment. One thing's for sure, Meghan's next steps will be watched as closely as any royal headline, and the world will be waiting to see if her lifestyle empire can truly stand the test of time. This new chapter in Meghan's business journey hasn't been unnoticed by the British royal family. Former royal editor Duncan Larcombe shared with Fox News Digital that Meghan's rapid success has reignited old concerns within royal circles. According to him, Meghan is using her public influence in ways the royal family had long been cautious about. He explained that Meghan's ability to build her personal brand and the immense attention surrounding her every move reflects a shift that the monarchy has always approached carefully. Historically, members of the royal family have avoided linking their names or public roles to private business ventures to maintain the line between royal duty and personal enterprise. Even the late Queen Elizabeth II had been firm on this principle. She reportedly denied earlier proposals from Meghan and Prince Harry for a hybrid model, half royal responsibilities and half independent commercial work. Her reasoning was simple but strong. The monarchy's dignity and public image had to remain above any perception of commercial influence. Now, Meghan's growing lifestyle empire, though entirely her own and separate from royal duties, mirrors the very scenario the late Queen had hoped to avoid, using public recognition and a royal-adjacent identity to build a thriving global brand. Critics have also taken notice of how Meghan's family life occasionally appears in her brand storytelling, something that continues to spark debate about how much of her personal world she should share. Supporters, however, argue that Meghan is simply embracing her authenticity and redefining what it means to build a modern legacy outside palace walls. So, what do you think? Is Meghan carving her own empowering path, or blurring the royal lines? Let's talk about it in the comments. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this deep dive into royal drama and modern reinvention, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more royal insights coming your way.